Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lumpim Vishum. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 30th of March. India and Pakistan evacuate hundreds of citizens stranded in Yemen. Floods declared in India's Jammu and Kashmir after days of incessant rains. And Mumbai's famed cafe Samovar to become history. And now for all the details. India's Common Man Party has split into bitter factions from within after two of its founding members were expelled from its top decision-making body. The growing divide has brought the forefront the party's infighting being seen by rivals as deviating from its high promises.
After a month-long feud, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal booted out Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan from the Aam Aadmi Party's 21-member decision-making council. The move came over accusations the two wanted to unseat Mr. Kejriwal. A separate weekend action saw the party's ombudsman fired for attempting to broker a peace deal and replaced with a three-member panel. The combined moves, insiders say, signal all is not well with an organization that only a month ago was hailed as a direct rival to the now dominant Bharatiya Janata Party.
जिस पार्टी ने लोकपाल की लड़ाई लड़ी और लोकपाल के अस्तित्व की लड़ाई लड़ी, वो आज अपने इंटरनल लोकपाल जिनके बारे में कोई दुनिया में कोई एक आदमी भी नहीं कह सकता कि भाई ये ईमानदार नहीं है या न्यूट्रल नहीं है, उनको जब आपको इनकन्वीनियंट लगता है तो आप उनको संविधान के खिलाफ चलकर उनको निकाल देते हैं.
Meanwhile, another senior leader, Medha Patkar, resigned from the party. More importantly, the party now faces a skeptical electorate that gave them 67 out of 70 seats in Delhi.
It is tragic, it is ironic that governance in Delhi is in inverse proportion to the level of support and voting which the AAP got. For nothing else, they need to stop this immediately and at least begin to attempt to serve Delhi and its people.
AAP came to power claiming to be a party that followed democracy and transparency, but it now appears to be repeating history. In its last term, it lasted only 49 days in a coalition with the Congress party as infighting surfaced. But now analysts feel it will have to act swiftly to put an end to the party's internal wrangling or would face a sharp voters' backlash even with its supermajority. Avneet Arora for South Asia Newsline in New Delhi.
Afghanistan had yet another violent weekend after a suicide bombing targeting a lawmaker left at least 3 dead late on Sunday. This is the latest in the series of attacks on government and foreign officials in the war-torn nation.
A member of Afghan parliament survived a targeted suicide attack in capital Kabul on Sunday. The bombing, however, killed a child and left several others injured. The suicide bomber detonated himself as Gul Pach Majidi, a lawmaker from eastern Paktia province, was leaving from a meeting of Afghan elders. Investigation is on to confirm if the target of the attack was Majidi. Though no group has claimed responsibility for the incident so far, Taliban insurgents have stepped up suicide attacks on government officials after an Afghan army offensive in southern Helmand province began more than 2 months ago. This is the second suicide bombing in the Afghan capital in days. A prominent police chief was killed in an explosion recently. A suicide bombing near the presidential palace in the heart of Kabul also killed at least 7 people and injured dozens last week. The continued violence in Afghanistan highlights the fragile security situation as the country prepares for the start of the traditional spring-summer fighting with the Taliban.
The Jammu and Kashmir government on Monday declared floods in the northern Indian state after water level in its Jhelum river rose steeply overnight. While rescue work was in place, officials have advised people to shift to safer places.
People of the Kashmir Valley woke up to panic on Monday morning as water level in River Jhelum rose beyond the danger mark. Incessant rainfall and bad weather in the Himalayan state for last 2 days has triggered the frightful situation, local authorities said. Over a dozen are feared dead in Budgam district after 3 houses collapsed following heavy downpour. More than 50 are still feared trapped as efforts were on to rescue them. Many were buried by mudslides as hundreds continue to leave their homes. All schools and colleges in the valley have been indefinitely closed after annual examinations were postponed. The authorities have also asked people living in low-lying areas and around Jhelum to move to safer areas.
बाद में बांध फटा है तो फिर सैलाब इस तरफ से पूरा आ गया मकानों में पानी एक-एक मंजिल पर मकानों में पानी आ गया है और वहां पर बूढ़े फंसे हैं बच्चे फंसे हैं.
Many stranded at the Jammu and Kashmir National Highway due to landslide remain deprived of water and food.
कल रात को बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश हुई. इतनी बारिश हमने पहले कभी नहीं देखी थी रात को और जगह जगह पे लैंडस्लाइडिंग हुई है. यहाँ पे कोई इतनी फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं है कि हम यहाँ से बाहर जाके राशन वगैरह इकट्ठा कर सके.
2 national disaster response force teams were dispatched as part of the contingency measures to help the civil administration in rescue operations. Police and army have also launched a joint operation in Poonch area where over 40 people have been evacuated. According to Met officials, the wet spell caused by western disturbance is likely to continue till next week. Jammu and Kashmir faced devastating floods for weeks, submerging and ravaging the valley in September last year.
In what is seen as a continuation of targeted killing of liberal elite in Bangladesh, yet another progressive blogger was stabbed to death in the country. 27-year-old Washikur Rahman was hacked to death outside capital Dhaka by suspected religious extremists on Monday. Bangladesh police said the attack was carried out by 3 people and 2 of them have been detained. Monday's incident comes as the Bangladeshi investigators are still unable to nab the killers of atheist blogger Roy, who was killed last month. Bangladesh has seen a rise in attacks on liberal and free thinkers by extremist groups in recent years. India and Pakistan launched efforts to rescue its citizens caught in the war in Yemen. Thousands from both the nations are stranded there ever since Saudi and its allies started bombing the country.
The first Indian Airlines flight carrying a batch of 4 citizens from the war-hit Yemen landed in southern Kerala on Monday. India has also dispatched at least 2 more flights, including an A320 Airbus and a passenger ship to rescue its stranded people. Those managed to return safe said thousands are still waiting to be rescued.
ജിബൂത്തിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾ ദോഹയിലെത്തി. ദോഹയിൽ നിന്ന് ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ ഫ്ലൈറ്റിൽ ഇവിടെ വന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഇനി നമുക്ക് ഇനി ചെയ്യാനുള്ള കാര്യം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ബാക്കിയുള്ള ആൾക്കാരെ എങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും രക്ഷപ്പെടുത്തി എടുക്കണം. അതിന് എയർപോർട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് ക്ലിയറൻസ് എടുത്ത് നയതന്ത്ര ബന്ധം യൂസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ എയർപോർട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് പെർമിഷൻ എടുത്താൽ നമുക്ക് സന എയർപോർട്ടിൽ ലാൻഡ് ചെയ്യാം. വേറെ ഡിസ്ട്രോയ് ഡാമേജ് ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടായില്ലെങ്കിലും.
The first batch of Yemen evacuees from Pakistan also joined their loved ones in the early hours of Monday. So far, over 500 Pakistanis have returned.
हम लोग एक वार जोन से आए हैं जिसके ऊपर एक नो फ्लाई जोन इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ हुआ है. अभी हमारे वहाँ दूसरे नेशनलिटीज़ के लोग मौजूद हैं, मिस्र के, उर्दन के, सूडान के. आज हमें पता लगा है सूडानी एम्बेसीज़ को कैप्चर किया गया है और हम लोग इंतहाई लकी हैं कि हम लोगों को वहाँ से वेल टाइमली इवैक्यूएट किया गया.
The Pakistan International Airlines said they were facing difficulty in evacuating people as there is a no-fly zone put in place.
Because we are flying into a no-fly zone, so we need a clearance. Once we have been given the clearance, we were lucky to have a very good ground handling agency over there who helped us board. And once we got the clearance for takeoff, our people then took off and alhamdulillah, they've just landed.
There are an estimated 3,500 Indians, mostly nurses, working in various provinces of Yemen. Some 2,000 stranded Pakistanis in the country are also waiting help.
India will soon operationalize its own navigational system at par with the US-based Global Positioning Satellite System once the full complement of spacecrafts are launched. A report.
With the successful launch of IRNSS-1D satellite, India is now set to have its own Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. The satellite, the 4th in the series of 7 navigational satellites for the system, was set off on board PSLV C-27 on Saturday. It was a moment of pride for the scientists of the Indian Space Research Organisation or ISRO as the IRNSS-1D was thunderously lifted off from southern Sriharikota and injected into its orbit. IRNSS-1D with a mission life of 10 years will provide terrestrial and marine navigation, tracking and mapping service and help in disaster management. Although there are places for 7 satellites in the circuit, 4 are enough to transmit navigational signals.
This mission has got its significance because we are completing the minimum essential requirement of 4 satellites in the orbit to start the navigation process. The orbit achieved in today's mission is excellent.
The 3 remaining satellites of the IRN-SS series are expected to be launched by next year. While 4 of the 7 spacecrafts in the IRN-SS will be in geosynchronous orbit, the other 3 would be positioned in geostationary orbit, some 22,370 miles above the Earth.
After playing host to numerous Bollywood legends and artists, one of Mumbai's most noted hangouts is set to close down. Cafe Samovar had no fancy cutlery or even an air conditioner, but it still attracted visitors for its intellectual ambience for decades.
For more than half a century, this has been a favorite hangout for artists and art lovers in Mumbai's cultural landscape. But the iconic Cafe Samovar is finally closing its doors after losing a decades-long legal battle. Ironically, the vintage cafe is being displaced by its neighbor, a premier art gallery, on the grounds that it needs more space to display the works of its artists. There will be no angry protests when this cultural beacon closes on Tuesday. Instead, the patrons will host a party to ensure that Cafe Samovar's final night is a graceful and nostalgic affair.
इतना साल काम कर रहे हैं, हम फैमिली मेंबर के जैसे रहे हैं ना, इसलिए तो हमको दूसरा जगह मन लगेगा या नहीं मालूम नहीं, लेकिन सबका याद आएगा यहाँ.
Inspired by a left bank of Paris, when Usha Khanna started the cafe with just one stove back in 1964, it was meant to be a melting pot for conversations, a place for struggling artists, writers and filmmakers in the Millennium City. And when it closes its shutters, it will not only be the end of Cafe Samovar, it will also be the end of an era of laid-back artistic cool in a city that is undergoing tremendous change and modernization at breakneck speed.
I just passed by, I said, Hussain Saab, ये क्या कर रहे हैं आप? मेरा टेबल ख़राब कर देंगे, कोई आएंगे तो कोई बैठेगा ही नहीं. He said, तुम देखते जाओ. Then I noticed that he had drawn in 10 minutes a painting which is very, very pretty. You know, a girl coming out of a cup of coffee.
At the beginning, with just 2 tables and a few random chairs, Samovar charmed its way into the hearts of Mumbai's intellectuals. And while patrons and critics alike argued that reputation of its food may have stopped living up to the legendary reputation of its ambience, Samovar still remained a postal address of note for many artists and a place where they could eat on credit in their struggling years in the city of dreams. The restroom was an integral part of the lives and careers of several people in the center of love stories for many couples, at a time when coffee shops were for spirited debate and conversations about life, the universe and art, not places for singular, quiet contemplation of computer and smartphone screens.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. India and Pakistan evacuate hundreds of citizens stranded in Yemen. Floods declared in India's Jammu and Kashmir after days of incessant rains. And Mumbai's famed Cafe Samovar to become history. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.